didn't set out on a pilgrimage exactly, but I did come to Canterbury with a walking app, a bunch of philosophical quotes, and an open mind. And I wanted to spend some time with Chaucer's pilgrims, not to follow in their footsteps, but to understand them better as reflections of their time. What I didn't expect was how much of myself I'd meet along the way.
Hi, I'm Justine, the nerdy half of the Breakaway Bravehearts, and today I'm in Canterbury, and I'm going to attempt something today. First of all, I'm going to be reviewing a self-guided app. It's an audio app, but I'm going to talk you through it as I go. And this self-guided tour takes you through Canterbury, but it brings in philosophers from all different aspects of time, giving you quotes to think about as you're in different parts of Canterbury. I really liked this idea, so I'm going to give it a go. But then I thought, this is the setting for Chaucer's Canterbury Tales. What would each of the characters in his pilgrimage make of these philosophical quotes? What do their stories tell us about the thought processes of their time and how that has changed? I hope you'll come with me, not just to see Canterbury, but also to tell me your thoughts. Please leave comments as you go, letting me know, what are you thinking? What are you reflecting on as you hear these quotes? Let's get started.
Chaucer's Canterbury Tales is a 14th century collection of stories told by a group of fictional pilgrims making their way to the shrine of St. Thomas Becket in Canterbury. Each tale offers a glimpse into medieval society with characters drawn from different walks of life, funny, flawed, and often surprisingly relatable. The Chaucer statue in Canterbury celebrates this spirit by surrounding the poet with sculptures of the pilgrims, each one modelled on real local people, grounding the medieval tales in the modern community.
So we're starting at the entrance to what used to be the main town of Canterbury, the main street that goes down there. Parts of it still cobbled, much of it repaved and modernised. And we're standing in front of one of the old pieces of the town. It's got a range of different dedications on it. There's a plaque to Christopher Marlowe, the dramatist, who I believe worked along Shakespeare. There's a plaque to commemorate the 50th anniversary of a World War II raid on the city. This is where the bomb dropped. This was the centre of the devastation. But the tower itself is dedicated to a woman called Margaret Greenhill, who was interned here with her husband and her sons. But the quote I've been given is actually nothing to do with any of these people. It's actually a quote from French philosopher Debord. I hope I'm pronouncing that somewhat correctly. From his 1967 work, The Society of the Spectacle. I'm going to read it out for you, and then I'm going to give you a layman's term version because I needed a little bit of explanation myself. Debord says, "The society based on modern industry is not accidentally or superficially spectacular. It is fundamentally spectacularist. In the spectacle, the visual reflection of the ruling economic order, goals are nothing. Development is everything." Okay, what does that mean? Basically what he's saying is that in this industrialized society, everything we see around us, advertising, media, marketing, social, branding, celebrity culture, it's not just fluff or decoration, it's the basis of how our society works. It's not an accident that life feels like a show. It's actually designed this way. And instead of working towards meaningful goals like justice, wisdom, happiness, we're actually just working for progress itself, for more technology, more products, more content, more updates. This whole spectacle isn't actually trying to achieve anything, it's just to keep itself going. It's momentum. Actually, on the face of it, that seems like a very real and modern concept. I mean, you just take an example of the products I'm holding right now. My little DJI camera, my smartphone. They're updated continuously, and I keep having to buy more and more updates and new products. Yeah, I can see this. But is it a modern concept? What would Chaucer's characters have thought of this? So Debord says our society of the spectacle isn't about truth or goals, it's about self-perpetuation. And actually there is a character in Chaucer who does kind of embody this. He is the pardoner, and he operates in much the same way.
The pardoner is a cunning and hypocritical churchman who preaches against greed while shamelessly profiting from fake relics.
He sells sacred images and promises salvation, but he also admits it's all a con. But his show continues because people believe the appearance, not the reality. The pardoner says, "For though myself be a full vicious man, a moral tell, yet I you tell can." Yeah, he sounds like Yoda. So he's basically saying, even though I'm totally corrupt, I can put on a good moral show. And it seems to relate to what Debord is saying. The system keeps going not because it's good, not because it's morally true, but because it keeps perpetuating itself. And that's what the pardoner cares about. He doesn't care about the soul, he cares about the ritual, about the transaction, the image. He's creating a world where people see salvation in what they buy, which does sound like a modern concept. So I understand now why Echoes has brought me here for this particular quote. It's definitely a marketplace where the spectacle is continuing pretty much for its own sake. Would this be the ultimate example? An entertainment exchange. We can take in your old model so you can get some cash back to upgrade it for the new model. The perfect trap for teens. The Pardoner's Church is not accidentally spectacular, it is fundamentally so. I really enjoyed that. Tick 1 to Echo. I never knew Debord before this, and so I've learned something already. Thank you. Let's see what's next.
The app actually only takes you through a small section of central Canterbury, so I've gone a bit rogue and have included a little more B-roll of some of the surrounding parts so you get more of a view of what the city has to offer. One hidden gem you might want to check out is St Augustine's Abbey. We were lucky enough to have a private tour with one of the volunteers who took us through the history of the cathedral, which I've linked above.
Our next stop is the old Buttermarket, and beneath the ground here apparently are Roman remains, but it was also a medieval butter market and has been the place of a pub for over 500 years. It's still in there now, operating as the old Buttermarket pub, but currently a little bit of construction work going on. Despite the construction, the square itself still maintains that charm, although it's very, very busy. Please excuse the background noise. There are tour groups going back and forth, school groups from all around the world, all different mix of languages and cultures. It's pretty cool. And this is also one of the entrances to the cathedral, which again is currently under construction. Canterbury is famous for having England's first cathedral. It was founded in 597 AD.
Religion played a central role in the life of Chaucer's pilgrims. They were, after all, on a Christian pilgrimage. So it's striking that Echoes offers us a theologically rooted quote from a very different religion.
The quote can be attributed to a Vietnamese Zen Buddhist monk named Trich Nyat Hanh. And he says very simply, maintain your health, be joyful, and do not force yourself to do the things you cannot do.
It's a simple statement about mindfulness, self-kindness, and living in awareness of one's own limits and boundaries.
Is it that simple though? When you think about our last quote and the society of spectacle and this kind of treadmill, hamster wheel that we seem to be stuck on, of always just perpetuating this need for more and more, actually might not be as simple as you think. I have to admit, it's something I have to keep reminding myself. It's something that Daryl has to keep reminding me too. He would believe in it strongly. For me, I find it a little bit more trickier.
Most of my life, I've put progress ahead of health. It took a global pandemic for me to challenge that view.
The wake-up call of COVID certainly did change my life. It led me to downsize, to focus on my health, to think more simply about what my life could be. Because in a way, I kind of had been forcing myself to do the things I could not do. I had been forcing myself to live a conventional life of the 9 to 5, living what society told me was a stable, responsible life. But I couldn't do it, not happily. So now I live a life of traveling from place to place. This YouTube channel certainly doesn't fulfill my monetary needs, or my needs in society, but it definitely fulfills my creative needs. It fulfills my need to get out there and travel. It helps me learn. I'm in a different place every week and I'm learning so much more about myself, about my culture, about my history by learning through the cultures and the histories of all the people around me on this planet. And I feel really grateful for that. But it's not easy. It's a real challenge for me because I've never edited before, I've never presented before. I really don't know what I'm doing. I've given up a career where I was successful, where I knew exactly what I was doing and I was comfortable in leadership. But I was burnt out and I was unhappy. They were things I could do on an intellectual, on a professional level, but they were things I could not do in the level of my soul and my happiness. To give that up is much harder than it seems. I've gone from a position of professional comfort and financial security to absolutely no security whatsoever and doubting myself continuously every day. No regrets, absolutely love it. And I really want to thank all our subscribers for supporting me in doing this. You're absolutely amazing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, because I'm not giving up. We're going to keep going. I'd love you to come with me. So I really can relate to what Trich Nyat Hanh was saying. He's talking about respecting your own boundaries, understanding yourself and living true to yourself. So what would this mean for Chaucer's pilgrims? How would they relate to this? The Buttermarket was completely crowded, so I've come to Canterbury Library to talk about the Clerk. The Clerk was a very quiet, serious student of philosophy and theology. He lives in poverty because he's completely devoted to his study, and he doesn't seem to show any interest in worldly joys or even his own health. And these seem to be strong medieval ideals. In Chaucer's day, self-denial and the pursuit of knowledge was actually a virtue. Chaucer says of him quite fondly,
"He had but little gold in his chest, but all he got from friends he spent on books and learning."
So Trich Nyat Hanh might want to correct the Clerk's extremes. He might say, yes, seek wisdom, but look after yourself as well. Don't force yourself into suffering for the pursuit of ideals. And I think that is more in line with modern thought. I hope, anyway, that most of us now understand the need for balance. I mean, work-life balance is the mode du jour, which is kind of liberating.
So what do you think? Are you more aligned with Chaucer's Clerk, or do you connect with Nan's outlook? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. While you're thinking, I'm walking in circles. It was at this stage of my day that the Echoes app decided to just stop working. I simply couldn't hear any of the quotes in the second half of the tour.
According to the app, I'm in the right space. I'm exactly in the middle of this blue dot, and I've been walking around the blue dot in circles, but I can't hear anything. And I wouldn't get upset, except this is like the sixth one that I can't hear anything, and I'm standing in the middle of a crossroads. So maybe I need to just interject a bit of my own philosophy, if that's what you can call it. Because I find it interesting that it is frustrating me, and there's three reasons why that I can think of at the moment that all pin down to societal expectations. Or is it my own personality? One cause of the frustration is time. I have batteries to think of, I have sunlight going down, I've got to take public transport, I've got deadlines in terms of editing this video. I can't come back again because I've got a budget too, and I've already used it up. So that's definitely one pressure. No, you're good. That's the second pressure, is the public nature of this. I'm doing all of this in the middle of the square, and there are people buzzing past me. I don't want to include their faces. I'm gonna have to blur all this out now. And third, a real frustration is technology. That I've invested in this, it's not solving my problems, but I'm still not getting what I want, and that frustrates me. Do I ever think to stop and step off? Let's find out what Chaucer's characters would do. Perhaps we can talk about the knight, a character who shows you should strive nobly in a frustrating world.
The knight has endured bloody wars, and yet he keeps on going humbly. He never lets turmoil impact on his sense of duty. Here I am, frustrated by the noise of construction, the time ticking down, and the anguish of technology that is not as reliable as they expect it to be. The knight's done everything right in a noble and moral way. I've just done everything right in a practical way. And yet still things aren't working for me. And I feel like they should. Why? Life's not like that. Things aren't always as they should be. They just are. I got ChatGPT to tell me what Chaucer would say in this situation. A tech-bound soul with patience near spent, who thought each click a path with purpose meant. Yet tools did fail, and time did press him sore. Her sore, still onward went she, noble to the core. But actually what I'm going to do is sidestep. So thank you, Chaucer, but onwards I am not going. Sideways I am now path taking. Because the tech has let me down, but I shan't let me down. One thing I've noticed is all my philosophers have been men so far, and I haven't heard from any female philosophers or any of Chaucer's female characters. So I'm going to look into those on my own. So I'm back on the train. The app just wasn't working for me, and it was getting a little bit too late. This public transport has a strict timetable. But I'm on the train on my own. Unusual for a UK train. But it does lead nicely into the next philosopher and the next character. Let's talk about the wife of Bath.
Loud, bold, and surrounded by people in the tales, yet beneath that she's deeply solitary in her defiance of expectations.
The wife of Bath is one of the most vibrant and complex characters in Chaucer's tale, and arguably in all of medieval literature. She's outspoken and full of contradictions, and she upends all the norms of her time. She's a wealthy, confident cloth maker. She's been married 5 times and happily celebrates enjoying sex and having power in a relationship. In her tale, a knight is forced to discover what a woman truly desires. And what does he find out? She wants control over her own life. Go figure. And this is exactly what the wife of Bath does. She gains self-determination through her body, her voice, her experience. Amazing how this medieval character matches our modern philosophy, and a 1960s philosopher, Audre Lorde, perhaps said it best. She said, "If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crushed into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive." Pretty powerful stuff. So I'm kind of loving the wife of Bath. She refuses to be eaten alive by the societal expectations of her time, by religious beliefs around how she should treat herself and her body. And I'm glad we're ending with her.
And while the Echoes app didn't quite work the way I hoped in practice, I still love the idea behind it. Walking, thinking, it became a kind of personal pilgrimage. And maybe that's the point.
But while this is the end of our little tour of Canterbury, it's not the end of my videos, so please subscribe and join me for the next one. I have no idea where I'm going to be. Hopefully Daryl will be joining me. Wherever it is, I hope you'll come with me. Until then, happy travels everyone.